What's up, everyone? How's it going? How's it going? Bit loud there. Um, right. So last stream, we got some UI up on the screen. It looks painfully ugly, but they're buttons. I swear, I promise. You can click them. You can even click them with the keyboard as well. So today we're going to be adding more types of controls. We're going to be adding like checkboxes, radio buttons. It would actually add margin and padding support to the styling. And I forgot what else I had on the list. Oh, and text. We need text, so we're going to put some text on the screen as well. So yeah, we'll just be doing a bunch of that today. Hey there, Jonas Crown. How you doing? How's it going? So yeah, I'm gonna switch on a light because it's proper dark in here already. Been really good having your VODs on while I program. Sweet. Glad you're enjoying them. Yeah, yeah, people always asked about having VODs for the previous projects that I've been on, but I didn't have them back to the start, so I never tried it, so I just decided to do it for this one. Just have the whole game, development of the whole game from zero to release, hopefully, just all recorded, you know. So people can just see, you know, go back and watch the whole thing if they want to do that, or they can just go and peep at little bits as it goes, right? So yeah, I was thinking about this name is empty. Maybe it's fine. By empty, I mean it's like it's no size. Maybe we'd say is zero. Probably a better name. Do 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 do. Looking good. I enjoyed your HTC dev streams. Awesome. Awesome. Sweet. Yeah, that was good. That was a good project. It just got to a point where it's like I just want to start using it now. So I need a project to use it. So it's cool though. It's proven out really good though, because we've written some quite complex shaders and we've only encountered like little bugs, a few little bugs, but we've fixed a few of them. Hey there, Cranston. Good to see you. Hi, the VODs are way too interesting for me to be focused while I program. No, there's only HTC VODs anywhere. That's the project where people are asking for it, but yeah. The thing is about HTC as well is it started off as a different shading language. That was going to be C-like, and basically C. But then the semantics weren't the same as C, so I was just, like, you know what? Let's just make it C. So. Sweet. I'm Kept Payne, welcome, and Egotist. Welcome sir, how you guys doing? So we've posted on the Discord that we're doing margin and padding today, text, checkbox, and radio buttons, and maybe more. So that's quite a lot of basic controls. Obviously you want like a list view, and maybe like a scroll area. Those are... Oh, you actually want like you probably want like a little progress bar, maybe a little like slider, a slider to sort of select a value, right? So we could, maybe if we get time today, we can do those because we should be able to whack these in pretty easy. You know. So let's go to the styling for a sec. So here's a little style. We've got radius, background color, foreground color, border thickness, border color. So all we really need now is, I should probably add another one. And we'll call it thickness. So you get to, I think that name comes from like C# land, for UI at least. So, I don't know, I do have my vectors though. But then it would just be a bit silly, right? No, I didn't do that good. Yeah, so we'll just make a single structure for it. So F32 left, bottom, right, top, something like that. So padding, or margin and padding, right? Oh yeah. I still have the whole making a compiler is prohibitively hard. Noob attitude, need to fix that. Yeah. So the thing is about a compiler is like when you've written one, like you understand how not to write a compiler. You know, where you did it wrong, and your next one is gonna be way better. So definitely start with like a small language first, and probably just do like three very small languages, and then you'll just realize like, right, now I know how to make a good compiler. Before you bother doing like a big one. And just don't try and make a new C++ and you'll be good, you know. Got enough C++ clones out there now. Yeah, and make sure that your language has types. Types are good. You can compile your code and it fixes bugs. Or it tells you where the bugs are. Pretty clever, right? Hey, not so red, how you doing? Now let's open this nice cool can of Pepsi Max. Oh damn it. Okay. So we basically need a way to sort of shrink and expand a rectangle by thickness, right? Because if you remember, right, effectively making a UI when Milton wants to load, it's got to boot up a wine and be like, check the environment. There you go. Because if you remember, oh my days, this thing got completely. Yeah, because if you remember, come on. There we go. Because if you remember, basically, like, the UI is basically just a bunch of rectangles, you know? So we just have to be able to grow and shrink our rectangle according to the margin and padding stuff. It's pretty basic stuff, right? We don't have to overcomplicate stuff because it's just a bunch of rectangles. That is UI. So we're going to give you the control of doing left, right, top and bottom completely differently, right? So where's our rectangle thing? Here it is. Here's all the bells and whistles for it. So let's add another one. You can shrink it. So you can shrink it with a scalar, and you can also shrink it with a thickness. So shrink T, shrink S, I guess. So that'll just be amount, and then thickness, amount. Bear in mind, thickness needs to be declared a bit higher, so we can actually. So you also want to have like a little thing where we can just say, what's happening? Did I change to Great Britain keyboard? Who uses a Great Britain keyboard? There we go. Do I want to do a hash define? So S, 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 something like that. So you want to have thickness with another S on the end. Left, bottom, right, top. Like the way it should be. Salutations, how's UI going? It's going pretty good. We only started it yesterday. If you were to ignore the 14 odd streams of doing a renderer for the UI. But in terms of like the UI code, yeah, I only spent 4 hours on it, and we've got buttons clicking on the screen. We've got boxes being rendered. We've got styling. We've got layouts. We've got a layout system now, so it's pretty decent progress, and we kept it quite simple. So I'm quite happy with it. So we're just going to be doing more stuff today. Just making lots of good progress, I reckon. Back to the Pepsi. I know this is not good, and I got tea as well. So I'm mixing the healthy and the unhealthy. Awesome, good to hear, good to hear. Damn British, I know, right? Our colours, and you know. But to be fair though, we do say a lot of good things right. Maths, learn, burnt, you know, English. Whereas obviously American is math, learned, burned. I burned that. Anyway, that sort of stuff. So, welcome there, Zealand. How you doing? Zelino. Color is my favorite. There you go. Color. Ah, comma. Rightio. So we've got shrink and to grow our rectangle. So we can use these for margin and paddings. So let's just get these implemented. Super easy. So the idea is you basically just want to minute. I don't know what you want to do. You want to say, so you half the amount, like that. And then you want to say, right, rectangle min dot x plus equals the min, the minimum of rectangle min plus x, sorry, min x plus amount, min with max dot x. So if it goes past max, we'll use max. If not, we'll use the amount we've just specified, right? Very good. So we just want to repeat that for the y's. And then you do the other way around, right? So you say max, 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 min, min, and then you max this here, right? And you do take away. Voila. So that's how you shrink. Then obviously the shrink, this version, is you take the amount dot left. Wait a minute, do we want to divide it by 2? No, I don't know why I was dividing it. Right, much better. So this would be amount dot left. Maybe you should take this one via a pointer. I'm not sure. spelling lang equals in. Yeah. C for programming, I'll just use the US one. US spelling. Mainly just because it's just more like compatible with just like a worldwide audience, right? Or worldwide, like, you know, it's what every other country basically learns is American English, unfortunately. So the way it is. But yeah, I do prefer the way obviously the words look in English spelling, and the way things are typically said as well. Fortunately. Oh, exactly. Unfortunately. Ah, gotcha. Okay. Yeah. So do we take this thing by pointer? Should we take by pointer? Because it makes the API a little bit more. So if I was going to use it, well, it's mainly internally used anyway. And if you have a thickness, it's probably you know what? I've got a better name now. This is even. And then thickness even. Yeah, I think I've done that in the past. That's why. Okay, so that's a much nicer name now. So do we pass it in via a pointer there? Because we're going to be using this API. It's probably just going to come from some styling. But if we want to use it from a point of view of in the user code, we probably will. Taking in via value shouldn't be bad because it's just going to get inlined anyway. Probably. Right? It's quite small. So this would be dot bottom. This would be dot right. This would be dot top. Ta-da! So now to do these ones down here, we simply just have to go the other way. So to grow, we take away from the min and we add from the max. And then what do we want to pick? We don't care about, yeah, so we still need to min it and max it just in case you pass in a negative value. So I don't know why you need a grow or shrink then, because it's basically, yeah, no, grow or shrink, you'll keep it. Yeah, we'll keep that. Yeah. Because I think you might have it in positive form, but you want it to become a negative thing. So you want to shrink it, right? So I think that's right. Very good. Very good. Isn't British standard in EU? In my uni, we have specifically studied British English, but I'm in more barbaric kind of a country. Fair play. Yeah. I'm not sure actually. But like, you know, I guess maybe in the EU it is that way. It would be funny though post Brexit if they changed their mind and were like, screw you guys, we're going with American English now. You know, that would have been funny. Right, so now we've got the margin and padding in the style. And we've got some lovely functions to be able to manipulate the box and manipulate it safely. What we can now do is chuck in some margin and padding. And so we can use this thickness even, 4.f, voila, padding 4.f, It's 8 pixels of spacing. Oh, right. So where do we now apply these? So we've got them like that. How do we sort of apply these things to the box, right? So when you go and lay your things out, you're doing all this cutting and everything. Have a think about this. So here's all of these guys, right? See, maybe you just need padding. Maybe margin is done by you, the person who lays everything out. But then that would be a little strange, maybe. Maybe you pass in the style. I'm not sure. No, okay, margin is outside, padding is inside. Yeah. So if you're passing in around these rectangles, my school's by random. 1 year it's American, the other is English. They're just doing that to mess with you. Obviously the worst one is like sports. You know, you got like football, right? In England, it's literally you use your legs and you kick it with your foot. In America, you like pick up with your hands and you run, and then like maybe you'll kick it. You know. So could we do margin and padding actually, now that we think about it, as part of the UI system itself, or do we have to be in control of that with our sort of like layout system that we're doing in some way, right? So if you take the button, for instance, if you want to apply the padding, right? You have your rectangle here. You do pass it in via a pointer, right? So technically you could manipulate this thing, right? And then you would be placing it. So you could manipulate it there, right? So when you start your button, yeah. So you start your button, that goes into widget. So the widget can just be like, right. So you want to make sure you don't change it here, because this is, you know, if you put the mouse inside the button and you're in the padding area, that's still inside the button. But the clipping, you want to go post padding, right? So what you can do is you can just say UI rectangle shrink, and then you shrink the rectangle, and that's, you got a pointer to it, so you're shrinking what the user's just passed in, and they will see your changes, and you're shrinking it by the style. So the current style is padding, right? Which will be pretty sweet. See, I'm not sure if I want to keep this in here, to be honest. We'll probably change it in a bit. So anyway, let's run this now, and let's see the padding be taken. Well, we can't really see the padding taking effect, actually, thinking about it, because there's nothing on the inside. So unless we put another box in there, right? So let's just do a box. Put the A rectangle in there, and the style, like so. And let's see the first or the second one with a box in it, and it's got margin. Oh, sorry, it's got some padding in there. So give that a lovely run. Well, there it is. I couldn't make it out because the border the border's 16 pixels. So let's make the border 32. Maybe not. let's bring the border down. So if you have a border as well, that is another layer of padding, right? Let's think about it that way. The border is also padding. So there's another button in there. There it is, or another box in there. Right, they're different. Okay. Yeah, so there's another box in there, you can see it. So what did we want? So we need some sort of so the border is actually another layer of padding, right? So let's get Milton out here. You have yourself a box. If directly on the outside, that's the sort of actual rectangle you pass in, right? Then this border is technically some padding that needs to be taken off. And then there's actually another layer of padding that can be applied, which is obviously called padding, right? Before, and then like the most inner rectangle, this is the content, right? That you obviously do some more, place some more sort of widgets in that area or something, right? Then obviously margin is the thing on the outside of the box, right? Which is probably controlled by the layout system. I'm not sure how we're going to do that, right? So let's think about that in a bit. So let's take this here, this render background thing. Actually a bad idea for what we want to do. We're not doing that. Not good. Let's take it out. So we want this to happen after box. Yeah, pretty ridiculous football stuff. Yep. Inception. Yeah. Padding within padding. Yeah, border is basically just padding that's drawn. That's all it is. So the reason why I've taken that out is because the checkbox kind of wants like, or the radio button will want like a rounded one. So it's kind of, it's just a bit weird being in that you could just make a function and just share it. It's really not a big deal. Like the other stuff makes more sense because it's like setting up the core part of a widget. Obviously it's got some if statements because it's got different modes. It's basically setting up the core part of a widget. Maybe you could share some of this, but put that into some functions, but nah. Good. I like that the way that is for now. So this rendering code could just be, so we want to have a way to get the current style. I will just copy paste the code around, screw it. It could be a function, but then it's just, I don't know if I care. I could say UI widget style or UI style or something, but I'm not really fussed. So, so we could have a UI box draw, and then the button will just use box draw, right? So we'll just have a something like that. We will need we will probably need your rectangle. Now the thing is we need the rectangle before the padding's applied, probably. We need to think about it. Well, we need to draw before you apply the clip bounds as well, because the clip bounds, you see, what do we? Yeah, we need to draw before you apply the clip bounds, because when you call this, it ends with this, right? And pops on a new clip rectangle. We haven't really done the UI clipping yet. We should probably do that. We should probably do like UI draw clip push or whatever. I forgot what it's called. We'll sort that out in a sec. So we need the styles passed in, and we need the rectangle. We don't need the ID. Okay. So we can then call draw right before. I don't know, this feels weird to me, but if it works, then it should be fine. Return if the widget's visible. Well, that's the thing. So if the widget's not visible, why are we drawing it? Bum bum bum. That's where it gets problematic, doesn't it? So the start of the widget call, we check to see if it's visible. Then if it's not visible, we return. Dun dun dun. So maybe we just make that into a function. They equal separately. Say like widget. Maybe say like rec is visible, and it gives you back this visible thing. Dun 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 dun. Because then you want to do your drawing, and then if you do widget start, then it's gonna apply the padding, and then do the clip rec. Right. Yeah. So I guess we'll break out into a separate function. Widget rectangle is visible, we pass in the rectangle. And that's all we need. So it'll just be this. Right, visible is just an enum, which is basically like a boolean, where it's just like visible or not visible. Just so it's more readable for the user. It's like self-documenting when they get a visible back, basically. I don't think I want to do the check twice. It seems a bit pointless. So this one here might not return it anymore. That means every widget, new widget, has to call rec is visible, and then if it is visible, it will do a start, which is fine. Right. So now every widget has to call. Let's go to the box. So the box is going to do and get itself a nice visible. It's then going to say, hey, if I'm visible, can you please do the draw and then start me a widget and then return visible. Cool. So when you do a button now, the button is, yeah, you can see here the draw needs to apply the border thickness, basically. So it needs the original rectangle before the padding and before. Right. So that the render background. So this one's focusable and pressable. So the button is very nice. So what we need to make sure that we do is we need to make sure we shrink it again by the border thickness, right? But only if there is actually color. Well, what happens if the no? We'll just apply the thickness straight on. So that's shrink even. So we have an even border. There. Cool. So let's go and see how this looks now. Right. So as you can tell, there's a button within another. Wait, why is there a button within the? That's not right. Right, something's really, really weird now. This is not behaving. Okay, we'll look into that one. Hey there, scripted syntax. How you doing? How's things going? Right, something really fishy is going on. Fishy. Hmm. Oh, good, thank you. How are you, my friend? I'm alright. Pretty tired, to be honest. I went to the office yesterday and I travelled back like for 2 hours, and I just got such a tiring day. Plus, I don't think I had good sleep the night before, so it's one of them. So I was pretty tired today at work. But I managed to track down the really hard bug at work, which I was trying to track down today, and found out what the problem is. Now I know how to fix it, so it's all good. It's all good, you know. Yeah, gotta get some rest. But it's cool. Get a good rest tonight, hopefully. If not, I'll be tomorrow. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I have a baby right now, so baby wakes me up sometimes. And then we have to deal with baby. Yeah. But it's super cool though. So this is very weird. So we're gonna start just uncommenting. Well, we're just gonna start commenting stuff out and just having a bit of a play with the basics. Right. Okay. That's looking fine actually. So we'll just slowly bring more in, and when we start getting something which is a little bit problematic. Right. So this one works. It's a nice button. So let's bring in the other one. See, I think it could be this which is causing us the problem. I'm not sure though. Aha! It's stealing. Right. The identifier. Dun dun dun. Yeah, something to do with the ID. Have a gander. I'm not confused myself. No good though. Yeah. Don't worry, it's cool that it's temporary though. You know. And I can sleep well on a Wednesday. We can go to bed really early. If need be. Yeah. But yeah, the key to not sleeping a lot is try not to overthink, basically, because you just tire yourself out way too hard. So yeah, looks like the IDs are being a bit messed. So why? So you pass in the ID, which should be the line number. Oh, ooh. Um, so we're pushing it on the stack, and we do pop it, right? We push and pop them off the stack. So if I were to remove this one, then obviously it would it would work, right? Right, so the other button. Oh, come on. That is dodgy. What do we do to deserve this, eh? What do we change? Like the IDs aren't swapping around every frame, right? So basically when you do this start, you pass in an ID, it's just the line number. So in for loops, these are not good ideas, right? You have to explicitly provide your own identifier. And what it will do is it will take the ID of the parent and hash it with the child's one and all the other parents going up to the root. And that will give you an ID hash. And that's how you uniquely identify a button, or so you can sort of like you can check to see if it's focused the next frame, basically. All right, this is wrong, I think. Luckily, they were the same size, so it doesn't change anything. Still wrong though. Hey RCT33, how you doing, man? Welcome, welcome, welcome. So you pop that, pop the clip, done. So widget end, looking good. So we're just going to print some stuff out, and we'll see how it goes. So I think we're going to find, right, print ID hash equal. So this is in the widget start, so all widgets are just going to print an ID hash out. And I think we'll just also do another print here. No, we already know where the frame start is because we print out all the GPU debugging stuff anyway. So there's 3 here, right? They don't seem to change in any way. So let's uncomment the button one for now. And then we're going to print out the hovered at the end. We're going to print out the hovered one, right? So UI, I don't know what it is actually, UI mouse focus. That was mouse focus one, right? I'm going to print that boy out, yeah? That's the ID hash of that one. So run out 0. Yep. Oh, it's wrong, right? So the top one is 299, right? But you hover over it and the other one lights up like a Christmas tree. What? Why is that happening? Oh, I know why. Because it's using the widget state. So the render code here, which goes before, uses the widget state. There. Which comes from the previous widget. So it kind of has to go after the start then, which means we have to be able to, like, you kind of want to take a backup of the rectangle and then pass it into the draw code, basically, which is a shame. But that's what we'll do. So we're going to undo all of this that we've changed. No biggie. Yeah, we'll undo this and we'll find where we need to go to. I think the idea works quite well because you can just append a loop counter to the ID. Yeah, not really append with a plus, but maybe something else. Because the issue is if you have another loop underneath that loop, the line numbers are so close together that you will get a problem. But yeah, I see what you're saying though. Maybe you can do line number times line number and then plus a loop iteration. I don't know. I might have missed it. What case does using the hash instead of the ID solve? So the idea is you need to have a way to combine, like you need a unique ID for a control, for a widget. So you could have like two buttons, right? These are both under the same parent of this guy, right? And then you have another button which is in the same, has the same parent as the box, right? This big box here. So the idea is when you sort of click this one, you need to make sure that it's uniquely, when you're hovering a mouse over it, that's when you say, hey, so on the frame where you first hover it over this, you store a global variable in the global variable, and you say, hey, from the next frame, the focused element is this button, and we don't keep any persistent state inside the immediate mode UI system that we've got here. So because we don't have any persistent state about the button, we need to find a way to uniquely identify this button. So what we end up doing is we end up giving this a unique ID, which would be the line number, right, of the file, and then this one will obviously have the line number of the file, and this one have a line number of the file. Now, what you also need to do, so you could just use those line numbers, and that's great, but if you have multiple, it'll probably be fine for our game because we're just going to probably have one file, right? But the issue comes is when you have multiple files, and yeah, you need to have a way to like make sure there's multiple files. Yeah, so the way you probably want to solve it is because if you have multiple files with different UI elements in it. Oh no, wait. Here's the example. Sorry. If you have a function which just creates it has one widget which has a bunch of sub widgets in it. Those always use the line numbers from inside the same functions. If you've got some code reuse, the problem is the line number won't help you there because you have the same widget created multiple times, right then. So what you need to do is you need to make sure that you have a chain of parent IDs, and you basically hash them all together so that every child gets a unique ID, right? So hashing is just a way to combine all of them together, right? Because if you make a shared function which just creates, it creates a button and then inside it creates a box, well, that uses the line number for like 2A3 all the time, right? And then this is no longer a reusable widget because the box will always have the same ID for every instance. So to give a unique one, you take the ID of this one and the ID of the one that's the parent of it, which is probably outside the function somewhere. And then you hash them all together, then that's your unique ID. Yeah, that's it. Yep. That is the reason. Yeah. So, box drawing. Right. So that's cool. I'm glad we found the problem. No biggie. Right. UI visible equal that. if I'm visible, can you do some drawing? This makes more sense. Like I was saying, it feels a bit sketchy doing the box drawing before, right? Feels a bit weird, doesn't it? So what we could do is we could unapply the like we have the information in the styles, right? So we could literally just unapply it inside here. I think we might. Unapply the paddings. So we're going to take these and then make them go the other way around. Like if not, we take the copy here, and we always take the copy even if it's not a visible box, which is probably a rare case, but I don't know what's better. But the UI thing's so simple that it probably doesn't matter, right? So then you want to have your sort of local rect, and that'll just be deref of rect, right? Then you do the address of local rect, and you grow it, and then we just basically say, undo the shrink from UI widget start ID. That happens at the end of this guy, right? So style. So you got the style yet? So we're gonna get the style. Border thickness. So grow even. See, it's called thickness as well, but it's not even a UI thickness type. So not the best of names, I must say. So this one is going to be like the box then. But we are focusable and pressable, so we can behave differently. So let's try all this out now, and we should rightio. It should all be working again. So we should have a box inside of the button, and it shouldn't be getting highlighted like it was, right? So now we've got a bunch of padding. This shouldn't be the case. This looks like margin to me. It's on the outside, right? So that's not good. Let's look at that. Yes, the problem is if it shrink, we have a bit of an issue then. Yeah, because shrink then grow. Right, no, we need to take a copy. We need to take a copy because it does like a min-max if it shrinks too much close to 0. So you would basically get it. That's not good. So we need to just take the copy. It's more correct. So we'll say like render rect. So that's what we render. We didn't even start using local rect. That's the problem. That's why in the draw function that's what happened. No worries. So actually, we should call it draw rect because we didn't use the word render there, do we? Cool. So we'll do the same thing for the button. We use draw rect there, and voila. Cool. There you go. So you got a box inside the button there. It's padded a little bit, right? It's got a bit of padding. The padding is, as we can see here, 4 pixels, right? It's happening. So very good. So you've got a 4 pixel border, which is obviously padded in a bit. Then you've got 4 pixels of actual padding, and then you've got the inner box, right? So very nice. So we've got some padding, and the border working as padding as well. So now we've got to solve the problem of margin. How do we solve the problem of margin? That's the next question. Maybe instead of exposing star underscore ID and dump the responsibility of IDs to the user, expose maybe iter, which takes a loop iterator, passes hash underscore line iter as ID, more user friendly. The implementation is more general than. Right. That's interesting. So you can expose iter, which would then hash, and the index or whatever. That's interesting. See, the user might want to have to pass in their own explicit ID. So that's the other thing to maybe they have yeah. Like maybe the index is enough, right, as the ID, right? So you don't need to do the extra hash. Because yeah, usually like if you have like a bunch of lists and stuff, so yeah, or maybe you have like a unique name or something that you can hash up. I don't know. Yeah, I think we want to try and keep it as simple, like the UI systems be as dumb as possible, right? But that's an interesting idea that I've not seen it that. Yeah, I've not seen that way of expressing it though. But yeah, I'll think about that as we write more code. Margin. So margin is like, right, you've got yourself a box and like you're trying to like separate two boxes, right? So you got one box and you want to draw another box, but you want it to be a little bit far away before you decide, put it down, right? Because right now, as you can tell, they're all squished up next to each other. It's not nice, is it? So you need a bit of margin. So with a margin, you see, so we manually do the control of the layouts here, right? And obviously you could just say, hey, cut. Well, when you start the button, you just apply the margin pre-draw, right? You apply it pre-draw, and then that's fine, isn't it? Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's the answer, right? It's not rocket science. So pre-draw, you apply it, and then that's your draw rectangle. So what you want to say is like shrink. But the problem is, here's the problem, right? Is you don't have. Yeah, so the problem is you don't have. Oh. And what's the issue? Yeah, you don't have the style. Right, so you know the style after you've done not really the visibility check. See, the visibility check should probably be done post margin, and then that will mean you can actually render something. But maybe it's fine, just a little bit out, right? But you don't really want to count the margin of the box as the box itself when you do the mouse controls, right? So that's another interesting thing. So really what you need is you need the style of the widget before you can think about applying the margin. So you need the widget state. So you need to know like if it's active, focused, or none, that sort of thing. See, maybe then margin and padding, or maybe margin at least, should just be outside of the widget state. Maybe the padding can be played around with. You know, when you hover over it, it can maybe squeeze it in a bit. You know, maybe that's, yeah, so maybe then margin is something that is actually outside all three of them, then you don't need it, right? And then it can just be done outside. So that's kind of interesting. Because, you know, if you hover over it, then you move the margin. It's not very practical because then, you know, you've hovered over this edge of this box and then the margin size changes. Well, maybe then the box shifts over to the left a bit and then you're no longer hovering over it and it just starts basically flickering between the two different states, right? So it's not really good idea. Obviously, if it's like animated, you can make it into a bit of a game for some reason and make it sort of slowly move over, maybe. I don't know. Well, maybe not slowly move over, but... Well, yeah, up to some maximum size, but it's a bit weird. So I think we just want this. So then it means... So then where do we do the margin thing? Because it's kind of general, right? Every widget has margin. So it should really go in here. But then every one on the outside needs a rectangle for rendering, right? So if it's visible, we want to render. So what we should really have is the ability to get the draw rectangle passed back out to us post margin, right? So that will be proper ideal. So what we need to be able to do then is take the rectangle and then shrink it by styles margin. And then this rectangle right here is the draw rectangle. And we check the draw rectangle, or the current rectangle, see if it's visible. If it is, sweet. We can then pass out the... Now you want to do it before you apply this stuff, right? Something like that. So that'll be proper ideal. So let's go ahead and make that adjustment. So draw rec out. So now in the rest of the code where we use these things, we need to get the draw rectangle, so you just define it local. And then you can get it out like that, which would be proper sweet. Okay. I see that on bad websites way too much UI state flickering. Oh my days, I can imagine. See, I've done that before in the past. Yeah, I've never really designed it this way. It's interesting. It does make sense though, because margin is like, yeah, so yeah, just one of them. Rightio. So I'm not seeing anything right now. So what didn't I do? What did I miss? To shrink this rectangle, please, by that. Let's follow the rectangle around. Yeah, so you do want to be using that rectangle for the focus state. You pass it out here. This drawing. you pass out that deref of that rectangle, so it just copies it to the stack, right, the call stack. Here, then when it's visible, it draws it. A margin of 4. So it should be shrinking it on all sides. Oh, there you go. Let's then compile it. And voila, people, there we go. So you got some margin and padding. So there's a box with inside a button there. And we've got these all slightly away from the edges now, which is good. These obviously are a little bit more away because they're 4 plus another 4 from the other button, right? This has got 4 at the top, this has got 4 at the bottom. So that's why they look more than the edges. So, looking good. Margin and padding completo. Sweet. Right, so what is the next sort of thing we might want to do? Oh yeah. So now we're going to move on. Let's go to the announcement. So we wanted to do some text, right? We've already got glyph rendering, so it should be nice and easy. Bear in mind the glyph rendering, just a quick tiny recap, is we don't do anything special at the moment. We purely just want to get basic text on the screen. We don't care how it looks as long as it's kind of readable. So we're just using this pre-rasterized code page 439, which I think Dwarf Fortress uses. Just to, so we don't have to worry about making a text cache or, you know, just writing that code right now. We don't really care. But in future, when we want to make some better looking UI, sure, we'll probably just do the traditional glyph cache and rasterize some glyphs on the CPU and upload them to the GPU, right? Just do that. Oh yeah, the defer loop macro. Yeah, that's a good one. I think we'll do that. It's pretty good, isn't it? Yeah, we should do that. So what RCT is going on about is basically you can do a little trick. So we probably want to put this just in the code base and just call it like defer loop, defer scope, I think, or like core defer scope, something like that. And essentially, what you want to have is a start function and an end function, and you can basically stick it in a for loop. Now I forget how this thing works. What I had to do it. So you want to run this thing like once, right? So I think you need shadowing on. That's the problem. But you could probably, yeah. Yeah, you need the comma operator. That's it. You got it. Nice one. Thank you, sir. So this will get called. Yeah, that'll get called when you start. Then you want to basically only run it at the first iteration, and then after it's iterated once, you want to increment it by 1 comma operator, which means, you know. Yeah, UI scaling as well. Yeah, it's from Mr. Fleury in it. So yeah, that's another thing about UI scaling. We should probably because the thing is about IMGUI, or dear IMGUI, is it still doesn't support DPI scaling well at all. So, you know, and I don't think it's really too difficult to support it. It seems quite simple, to be fair. But yeah, we should definitely add like a scaling. So maybe we should do that right away, because then it means that we can just write code on top of what, you know, that. So we should probably do that. So this should probably just go in the core.h, right? Just chuck it in core.h, and then what we can do. So we'll just chuck it somewhere here like this, right? It's a nice little thingy. And then when we do stuff like these boxes here, we can just say, right, define UI box scope. So you pass in the rectangle and the styles. And then you basically just do box sorry, UI box start, call it, and that'll go at this, so that'll get called once at the start, and then UI box and like so. So then what you can do is you can put some braces after this in it for the for loop, right? And then this will get called at the start and this will get called at the end, right? So it's pretty handy trick. So we'll do that for the button as well. And button, there you go. Cool. So the button, so we go and try these things out now. So instead of, I just realized, you don't want to do it if it's visible. Shoot. You only want to call, oh, that's even better. This is even better. You got to change the defer loop though. We'll have an optional one. So optional returns a boolean, right? And the idea is it's going to be, you return true if you want to run, or false if you don't. So I guess you could just do that. Sweet. Yeah, that's a little bit more complicated, I think. We don't use rect, comma style in the macros. Okay, I'll check that. Thank you, sir. Oh, we're not using them, are we? Good catch. Rightio. So we can now try those out. So we should be able to say button, scope, excuse me. And then you can just do something like that, basically. So it's a lot cleaner. I like to use the word scope rather than just calling it button. Because then it just means, you know, it's just a little bit, sorry, I should delete that stuff. Just something I prefer. Right, so that still runs. Very nice. So the question came up about DPI scaling. So obviously if you have these margins and paddings, right, they do need to be scaled. Like everything does need to be scaled. So what we should probably have is some form of like global scaling. That we can probably just set somehow. So you need to have a way to be able to say UI you don't really want a different scaling across X and Y, right? You just want it on just one dimension. So in the internal UI, you want to store a nice little global. And by default, we're going to initialize that to 1. Right. So the thing is like they'll have the, you know, you have a full screen of pixels, proper, yeah, and you've got to scale every. So what we scaling? That's the question, right? So if you have a layout, if you have the layout system, right, and if you have the layout system, you're cutting boxes and stuff by a certain number, perhaps that should always use that global scaling thing. That's the question, really. So if this is your screen, like the problem is when you do the rectangle cut stuff. Say if I cut by like 10 pixels for some reason, like for some reason I cut by 10 pixels. If your DPI scaling is 2, should you be cutting by 20 pixels? Definitely for the margin and padding, right? All the styling stuff. But when you go to cut, I don't know if you want to be based on. You probably want to have two separate functions where one is like, because you might be aware of how big the box is and be doing some maths and sort of like going, well, I want to cut half the size of the box. So that one needs to be aware of, like, that one doesn't want to be multiplied by the DPI scaling, right? Whereas some of the others might want to be, right? So you want to have different functions for those at least. That's fine. At least we thought about that. DPI scaling set. So we'll just go to this one, and we'll set the GUI.DPI scaling. So essentially, when we do something like the margin, when you have all of this, so you kind of need. You kind of need doing different functions, not for these, grow, shrink. So these lot could just do the scaling. So grow, shrink, and all of that. You might want to have these automatically do the scaling inside. So should we have underscore? We need a word to say it's basically not scaled, or like a real maybe just unscaled or something, I guess. So this one, see, when you report back the half dimensions, that you could just give back scaled. Nah, silly. There's probably the manipulating ones, I think. So these two should probably just move up out the way. So yeah, I think what we might do then is just duplicate them, and probably just have like an unscaled version that you can use. It's kind of a bit silly that we'll just be calling the same function again, basically. Yeah, these need unscaled versions as well. Cool. So yeah, I think we'll just quickly go and throw those boys in. Shrink. Right, so all of these need a copy paste. So guess what we got, guys? Macros. So we can literally just go, hey, highlight all that, boom. Go and chuck yourself or not on this one. Go to the end, go to the bottom, go to here. Unscaled. Then, I guess copy that whole name, go down, go to the start, highlight everything in there, replace it with what you got, tab it in, delete this off the end, and then we probably just want to, let's just not put anything, let's put rect in there probably, and then we'll leave the rest to be put in. We go down by 2 and then leave it there. So let's try that one. Sweet. So we'll just keep doing that. So we've got what, about 8 of those? Maybe a bit too many there, right? So let's do 6. Well, that didn't work out how I wanted. That one worked. That one worked. Oh, it didn't. Yeah, something weird definitely happened there. Damn this thing. Right, let's redo it. I wanted to save some time, but I don't ever save time now. So close. Screw it, let's just manually do it. Unscaled. I just realized this top one should be called the unscaled one. It's the other way around, isn't it? So amount would just be scaled by GUI.dpi scaling, passing the amount. Right, we'll just roll with that. Rectangle amount, bearing in mind that we scale the amount. So thickness, UI thickness, scale. Yeah, let's just inline it. Left, bottom, right, top, and return the thickness for me, please. Very nice. So you should be able to just use this in here now. So amount equal amount, or scale the amount by that. Nice. Cool. That gets repeated. This one can get repeated. Let's just do all the repeating quick. Okay. There we go, easy peasy. So, right, this is where they are the same. So I'm dropping unscaled. Sweet. See, I'm not sure about like the terminology of scaled and unscaled. Like, scaled is implicit and unscaled is explicit, right? Most of the time you just want to, like, I don't ever want to make them both explicit. You know, but we'll think about that again when we start using it more. Right, so going from here, oh no, from here. So this will just be called the unscaled version. Rectangle amount. Sweet, delete all that. Nice one. So that's just standard grow. This one is with the UI thickness. Cool. So cutting to the left. Use cut left. Like that one. You want to return it. This one is cut bottom. We'll just copy paste these and just replace left with something sensible. Sort that out, no worry. Right, so left. Right, so that one will be bottom. That will be right. This will be top. This will be horizontal and vertical. Right, so these ones are a bit wrong because they take pointers in, so they don't return anything, and then that's job's a good one. So vertical unscaled, but you're right. Right, center. I didn't do the autocomplete, that's why it failed. Nice. So now we've got these guys, so everything should be automatically scaled when it comes to using these. So let's give that a go, shall we? So we run the standard one. Right, we get a crash, get a seg fault. Something weird going on. Usually when we get seg faults though, we get a stack trace show up in here. Why don't I see a stack trace? We have a crash handler, man. Oh, I've got stack overflow, so it probably didn't. Probably didn't want to do it. So it's like even. Infinity. Sort that one out. Right, so this works with DPI 1. So should we do the DPI DPI 2? Am I rendering using triangles? No. Sorry if that's a bit late range, but no, we're not using triangles. We're doing go to my Twitter. And hey there, Nico, how you doing? Stack Overflow, isn't that website funny? Yeah. It's where all the boomers go, apparently now. The boomers. But yeah, how's things? How's things? So effectively, we're doing a compute-only render range bomber. So this is all done using compute. So this is a test scene where we wanted to sort of stress this thing out. I do eventually want to do a video on this. I'm finding the time. I'm building the presentation now. I'm finding the time to gradually append all the slides I need to do a good job of this. Yeah, we're doing a video on how this works. So basically, we get all these draw commands. They're ordered front to back. They're ordered back to front by the game logic because it's the easiest way to output. And then in the renderer, we read it front to back. So we just read it from the back of the array. So we bin them. We launch a compute shader, and each compute shader gets 32 threads to just go over all of the draw commands per chunk, and it bins the draw commands that go over these chunks. And then we go do the same thing again, which looks at the draw commands in the chunks and then filters them into tiles. So we launch 32 threads per tile, and that's what these two times are here: the chunk binning and tile binning. And then after that, we use the compute shader when it renders a pixel, it checks what chunk it's in, and then it gets the small list of draw commands, and it just renders them front to back. And if it comes across a fully opaque pixel, it just earlies out. So that's why you do the front to back. It's front to back alpha blended as well. So yeah, we can do like some crazy sign distance field based stuff. So it's pretty sweet. Yeah, so that's the gist of it. There's a lot more stuff. There's transforms and everything like that. So I really want to get it in a video and have some sort of graphics to make it sort of more digestible to a wider range of people. I submitted a large pile of patches to FreeBSD ports. Nice. Basically now it's time to wait for the taser. Oh. What did you do? Did you add? Oh, you added new ports. Nice. What ports did you add? Right. I have no idea what these are. Dist info, okay. And some other ones. GPL? Is that allowed? So yeah, the idea range for is we're just making some super flexible renderer. It has a cost of being slower than traditional renderers. We are doing compute only as well. It's a bit of a challenge that we're doing. Importance affects only me. What? Okay. I guess you're allowed them in ports, right? Not in the main thing. Nice. You've been an open source contributor. That's something I'm very scared to do. Contribute to other projects. But yeah, we did at the cost of performance. But we've got a really flexible SDF thing, so we can do tons of creative dynamic game rendering with this thing at a cost of a bit of performance. So I'm trying to make it faster, right? But we spent like 12 or 14 streams on it already, so just parking it. I'll come back later with much better understanding of compute shaders and be able to go full ham and make it better. But for now, it's good enough. Like, it's super quick here, obviously, with nothing on the screen. But well, it could be quicker, way quicker than that, with just this much on the screen. It could be like 10 times quicker for just this, if you just do it with triangles. Like the baseline clearing of the screen is that. So maybe not 10 times quicker, actually. If it's done with triangles, because that's baseline, just clear the whole screen. 40 microseconds. So that's like a memset 0. Right, so what were we just doing? The DPI scaling. So what happens if we set it to 2? The margin is twice as big, yep. And still cut fine, right? It went down, then. So I think that's good. Obviously, you want to test that. You know, when you make changes to UI before you sort of commit it. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I'm glad we started on that. Thank you, whoever suggested that. Appreciate it. I was thinking about it, but I just didn't think about it. Didn't think about doing it right now. Let's give got that in the right way. Now I can collect my internet points. Woohoo! Ew. Yeah, you people are happy when other folks contribute. Yeah, I know, right? Because there's actually a considerable amount of people that work on like important stuff, and it's interesting. How many people actually contribute to open source is quite cool. I'm a CG noob, computer graphics noob. Most of the description went over my head, but sounds good. Awesome. So yeah, I guess the video will really help you out if you see it. PVNSZ001. Thank you so much for the Prime sub. Appreciate it, sir. Welcome to the club. You'll be able to get access to the code, run it on your Windows and Arch distro machine. You better be using Arch. Follow that link there, sir. Take a gander. Yeah, you just have to link your Twitch account and you get access to a channel. You'll be able to clone from the GitLab repo and kabam. Shoot. The link may have run out of date. I've got to regenerate a link, but it'll be updated after this stream, I guess. Oh, is it? Why is it out of date? I should have got an email about that, but I didn't see it. Why has it been a month already? About glyph rendering, we're talking about earlier. Haven't done it, but SDFs are good for that, right? Only possibility to do that on the GPU. So the SDFs are a bit different. But yeah, you basically like, so you would basically have another version which would be you basically sample it from a texture still. So the SDF is stored in a texture when you do the glyph. SDF glyphs, right? It's pre-evaluated sign distance field stored in a texture. Yeah, I don't really know I want to do sign distance field text because it isn't really the be all end all. You can do some cool stuff with it. It's great for like in-world game text, but it's not good for. It's not really good for UI if you have small text. It's not really good. You have to have multiple samples to make it good. But yeah, I've had some thoughts about other ways you could do text. Like you could perhaps upload all the curve information to the GPU, and maybe you can do a better job with the curve information. But I don't know how much slower that'll be. Yeah, I've had some thoughts about that, but I've not tried to do it because text is complicated. You know, you got all the extra bells and whistles, all the extra language stuff to do in that. I was wondering if you could do everything unscaled, then render it scaled. For user interaction, updating, you can scale them accordingly, like scaling the cursor position. Yeah, I don't know. I think you want to know. I think you want to be aware of the resolution you're actually at sometimes. So given the ability to do that is good. When the user has their own UI, but we'll see. I don't think doing the scaling, like giving them a scaled canvas, is great because I think you need to. You don't know what a pixel is anymore, so you can't pixel align things, right? That's the problem, right? I like the Bezier path approach for glyph rendering. Have people already done that Bezier path approach for glyph rendering? Is there already projects like for that? Yeah, you can mix both, but then you got two systems, right? And two systems is more complicated. And also building those SDFs, you need a whole build system for it. And I know people probably use that MSDF project, but I don't know if I like it, to be honest. Yeah, they do store the quadratic Bezier curves. That, yeah, something like that, and they have clockwise and counterclockwise to tell if it's punch if it's drawing a shape or cutting a hole out, that sort of thing. But yeah, it's just I wonder what it's like to do that on the GPU. Basically, I wonder what it would be like. Okay, so let's go full ham. You can just compute. Really? Is it really easy? What is you? I don't understand what you're saying exactly though. But yeah, you basically just need a distance from the edge, don't you? So yeah, if you can do that per pixel, it's really not difficult. Resolution curve. Yeah. Excellent. Right, I'll keep this open, thank you. But yeah, like I've thought about this. Just like, well, why can't you just use the curve information, just upload that? And I said it's someone who was heavy into SDFs, and they're like, it's not as good as SDFs. But I was like, why not? Why? So I was thinking about trying it like ages ago. But yeah, then you can do that for tiny things. You can do it for big things, right? Because an SDF is a compression, right? It's compressed, it's rasterized to a texture. It's not good. It's kind of great for a subset of things. Whereas if you have the actual high definition information, you can just use. You know, an SDF is lossless. An SDF texture is lossless. No, sorry, it's lossy. That's what I meant. It's lossy, right? Yeah, took a look at the pictures. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, I'll read it. I'll read it later. There's a bit to read, but it does look good. I'm not sure if I wouldn't need to triangulate it here because I'll just take the pixel. But yeah, I think a lot of this you can just skip basically. But that's cool. Appreciate it. We'll go ham on that, I'm sure, someday. Maybe at the end we'll just be like, screw it, let's do it. But we'll just do the default. Right, speaking about text, should we do some text? But we always need some pre-rastered text, right? So let's go and create one. Cubic introduce complexities, only the quadratics are simple. Fair enough. Yeah, so if you can get quadratic only from all text, then that's great. Amazing, right? Hey there, Red Hilly, or Red He left you. How's it going? Welcome, welcome, welcome. Text. Do you want to know if the text is visible? I don't know if you really care, do you? Well, yeah, let's just return it. Screw it. So you need an ID for the text. The things about text, you kind of want to you need to be able to get the perfectly sized rectangle sometimes. So you really need to be able to say, can you get me the text size? So given a string, given a string, wait, sorry, what am I doing? Yeah. Given a string, can you get me the size so we can make the perfect rectangle? Maybe you didn't have to make, I don't know, we'll think about it. Let's just get it in. So, you also want to say given a line height. Or do you want to say given a style? The thing about this, if it's hovered, no, you don't change the size of the text, do you? So is text size kind of independent of, where am I from? The UK. Why is it that I find myself shaving so many yaks? I don't know. What is the yak? Is that the sort of like animal? Is that the like the GNU animal? So you want to say given some form of line height, what is the size of yeah, I think that's ideal. So we're not really supporting UTF-8. For now, obviously in the future we can just change this and voila, but until then. Right. Char equal string data index. So we'll do a nice little assert here. We'll say char. Make sure that is probably less than 32, which is space. Sorry, greater than or equal to 32, and make sure that char is less than 128, because that's when it starts getting into UTF-8 land, right? So you want to just say well, we can do the no. So for these guys, we could ignore them. Nah, we'll do it separately, I think. So char cannot be a control value. I think it's called a control, something like that. And then we say char can, well, a UTF-8 is not supported yet. So when you got this char, you can now start. So I just realized it's all fixed size, isn't it? So we don't really probably need to iterate over it. It's all monospaced. But you know what? Maybe we'll keep the loop. Nah. Something like that, I think. Yeah. So all we really need to do then is just return string dot size multiplied by line height. I did want to check to make sure it's not got any new lines in it though. So we'll just do that, I guess. Yeah, screw it. Then we'll do string dot size multiplied by line height. So that's the width. It's just monospace, right? It's square. It's 10 by 10 pixels right now, and not really got anything special going on. So there you go. There's your size of your text that you want to render. So when you render some text, right? If it's visible, I want to do some drawing. So this is where you probably want to iterate over. So you need your string. So I'm not sure, maybe we can automate some of this. Let's just write it out and we can refine it, make it better. No, I mean yak shaving. Not yak shaving. If you know what I mean. I have no idea. Do you mean yak as the parser? I have no idea what this is. The UI, I may show data in a table where there is an address column, a name column, and a byte sequence of arbitrary length depending on the address range or extension in the name. For options, it's more complicated if you're making navigation. I'm not sure what that's in reference to, or what you... Is that a question? Or, I don't know. Okay, so here we're just trying to do some rendering. So, we just want to say shape glyph, blah, blah, blah. We just basically make tons of... That can all be in one draw command. Do you want to do one draw command? Oh no, it can't be, can it? I just realized. Let's go to the graphics thing where we've got the lovely samples. See, we do one draw command per glyph. It isn't the best, but isn't the best for monospace text, but maybe it's the way we have to do it. I'm not sure. So we take the bottom left. So you get yourself a draw rectangle. So you get yourself a cursor position. So we're literally just going to say f30 times 2 cursor equal draw rectangle dot min. Draw rectangle dot min, so bottom left, and we can simply just say okay, plop that in there like that. Then we say cursor dot x plus equal whatever the line height is of this thing, right? So the line height actually comes from also as well, you got to be careful the margin, the padding, really, the padding. So about that. Right, so the line height is probably going to go in the styles one, because you know, if you hover over it, if it's active, you know, you could change the text size, but then that's going to in turn change the size of the, you know, the padding as well, and the border thickness. I think these things have got to be the things that define size, right? We can't be monkeying around with that based on the state, because it just creates such dodgy interface. You know, if you hover over something, it starts changing in size. It's not really fun. It's just really colors, I think. Yeah. So maybe think of a better name other than styles and style, because yeah, it's separated by one letter. It's not really good, but that's more food for thought for later. So, right, where were we? Right, it's probably just broken a few things, but no worries. So now in styles, it should just be able to say line. That's what we're advancing by. Is that right? No, because it's right for now, but it's not right in the you need like how big's the glyph and then kerning and stuff like that. But okay, but for now, das ist good. So there we go. We also need a text color, so we get the text color in. Text color, style, text color. Now to get style, you need to do this lovely indexing up here, like so. Based on the widget state, which would have been calculated when we called this guy. Is it focusable, is it pressable? Absolutely not. Oof. Very good. So we do these calculate dims and all of that jazz. We want to make sure that we pass in the styles, right? So the line height is part of the styles and padding and border information. So what you want to add to this overall sizing is UI styles. We want to add to this overall is plus styles padding dot left plus styles padding dot right. Plus styles border thickness times 2, because that's just a single scalar. Bottom and top. Then this one is styles text line height. So it goes off the screen, so we should probably just do something like this to make it more readable. There you go. Okay. What color scheme is that? We got ourselves a little custom theme built on top of another one. So if we just do that, it's all there. You need to probably have tree sitter and all that, but that's the basic idea of it. Yak shaving. What is it? I'm even more confused now. Seamlessly pointless activity is actually necessary to solve the problem, which solves the problem. Oh, I see. Right. That is me, right? That is me to a T, right? Don't worry, I do loads of that yak shaving as well. I guess I kind of like what did I do? I yak shaved my way all the way down, and then I sort of like basically like got rid of many layers on the top of the stack, and so I've only come up by one, and just abandoned everything else. Yep. Yaks all the way down, exactly. Just took that shaver and just dived down the layers. What I mean is, if you show the data in a table like me, it's hard to make navigation because then it instead of clicking menu strings, 3 skills. for you. Change fast depending on the key press. It's hard to make navigation because... Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you mean. I've got to visualize what you're saying there, Ready Lefty. I'm not sure what exactly you're referring to. Maybe I said something a while ago and just sort of responding to it, but yeah, I've lost that now. Right, so that should be text, right? Obviously just first implementation, but should just be the text. Now I've got to fix all this. So this is in styles. So really actually we didn't need to know the actual style, which is kind of cool now. So all the size related stuff is only set once. Then for each state we can change the colors. So if you focused it, change the colors and all that. So visual stuff, more visually stuff is oh my days, border thickness 4. Thank you. Oh wait, line height, we'll just do 10, maybe 20 pixels. Oof. Oh wait. So yeah, I'm keeping to the style of damn ugly, you know. So just make it white for the text color. Cool. Let's get some text in there now. So we'll give this button some text. So say UI text. Now UI text rect string styles. Yeah, we call UI text ID line rect string styles. Beautiful. So what we should be able to do is just change the implementation. Oh, very nice. Just got to change the main file now. I don't know which one it was. Was it this one? I don't know. Let's change it like that. Right. So we should be able to call. What do we need to pass in now? So it's the rectangle. There'll be some modification of A. The string and then the styles. So you got the string, which will probably just be. We should probably have one called text. And that just is the core string C and converts the C string over. And then you can just pass in a C string. Right. This is text. Address of box style. Right, so let's hit a run on that one. Let's see how much this blows up the computer. Let's go. Right, it blew up. So it's because, so also we didn't cut anything out as well, so we've got to be careful about that. Maybe. There's no widget end? Right, this widget should have been ended. UI widget end. We're not going to have any child of text, are we? So we're just going to end it. And voila. Cool, so this is text. So it's not being... There should be padding. It's clearly wrong, right? Clearly wrong. But we get some text on the screen, which is good. Just a little bit wrong. Just a little bit. So the button should be modified enough to the point where you've modified. You've shrunk this stuff, right? This rectangle. And yeah, that's pretty sweet. Yeah. So what happens when you keep stuff simple? You can just chuck stuff in. I want to get 2 more things done, 2 more controls done today. We want to get radio buttons and checkboxes. Obviously, we're going to keep with the true ugly style for now. We'll obviously make it pretty later. It's all about functionality right now. But yeah, it's a little bit off though. It's stuck on. It's on. So the thing is, this should get margin and padding of its own. Sorry, padding of its own. Shoot, I've just realised we've given it the size of the box. No. You know what? I don't know what's going on. Oh, excuse me for a second. Right, welcome back. Gesundheit. Yes, thank you. Needed that. Thank you. By the way, I should link this paper too. Super interesting ideas for path rendering. Whoa. Take a gander. Takes gander. Where is it? Here's the right. Yeah. See, I usually like I'm not a big fan of papers, but that one, this one, right? It's got good enough pictures, you know. And it's not right. It's only 10 pages. I've seen like so many papers where it's like, okay, here's everything you need to know before you read this, and it just takes you back just to and it's just like, oh, ridiculous. Yeah, I've done this in the past with triangles. I've done that in the past. Yeah. Is how the IMGUI does as a path rendering system. It's pretty cool, to be fair. But yeah, if we can do that with compute in a shader and just do a bounding box around it, right? Obviously not the best for all paths, right? But just do a bounding box around it, maybe for little quadrants of a path, and then you can break it up into smaller pieces. Yeah, yeah, then that'd be pretty cool. Yeah, the Bezier curve stuff, you can do it with a simple for loop. It's pretty sweet. Yeah, that'd be cool. Appreciate it. Microsoft One goes first though. Microsoft One will probably be a lot more easier to digest. That's a very weird thing, me saying that, I know. There's some hard-coded things here. Me no like hard code. Styles. That's obviously not, you know, that's the obviously not gonna be the same glyph dims. Divided by 2. Yeah. Because it's half size. Should we got that all right? Cool. Right, so look at that. That's not changed anything, right? Good. Shouldn't have changed anything. Right, so now... Oh, so we should be using draw rect, right? Are we using rect anywhere? Draw rect min. So I guess we could print out the rectangle, and we got a super lovely function for this, right? We can literally just do this, right? Chord debug print strut, throw it in there, kabam. Right. Right. So we want to be careful though. What do I want to be careful about? Yeah, we only really want to see the stuff that we really care about, right? So let's just comment out probably this one all the way down to here, and then we'll copy this one to here. Voila. Rightio. Let's go. Let's go. So we're getting 2 triangle prints, right? One's the outside box, the other one's the inside box. R and G are just aliases for X and Y. So what we're looking at here is that they are being updated. So the first drawer is that. The second drawer is that. But is it enough? So you're 4 pixels in, which means you've done a margin of 4, right? And then you've got 2 padding layers, you've got border thickness, and you've got padding. That's 8 extra. And there's another 4, which would be margin for when you do this one. So that is fine. So why is the text off? That's the question, right? Why is the text wrong? Why is the text wrong? So the draw structure is fine, right? So if visible, let's print out here, it should just be 16 pixels. Oh no, I feel like something is up with... Oh no. This isn't the center position of the text, I feel like. Wait a minute. Yeah, it's got to be the center position of the... So I think we've got to do add f32 times 2. Yeah, because that's the half position. So that's lower left, you go halfway in, get to there. So that should be it. Yeah, Nick Johnson is the champ. There you go, so there's some text properly aligned with the margin and the paddings. Sweet. So the next thing to test is obviously the scaling, right? Got to test this scaling out. So the scaling, up that by 2. Up that to 2. I don't think it's going to scale, right? No. Text is not scaled. Das ist not good. I don't know what the word not is in German, so I failed. Yeah, the two people we play constantly is Nick. Das ist nicht gut. Is that right? Das ist nicht gut. But yeah, Nick Johnson, and we also play Stone Rebel. Stone Rebel's another good one. That's what we're playing at the moment. Maybe until the end of the game is completed. Sweet, I nailed my German. Thank you. So, text. When we do the text, right, we've got to apply the scaling. So, you want to apply the scaling to the half size, and you play it. So really this line height, right? Right, rather than just keep repeating all this silliness, right? We just put a little local variable, right? Whoa, mind blown. Line height. Man, his code reuse is over 9,000. Whoa. Right, there we go. Cool. So we should just be able to do that, and got to close the window because it's not signaling quit for some reason. There we go. It's scaled text. Look at that. Oh, isn't she beautiful? Right, so now we just have to revert back the scale back to 1, and now it's unscaled. Ta-da! DPI scaling. Hello there, Ansel sir. How you doing? How's things going? Right, so that is text basically done. Right. Although we do want to think about that text sizing that we did. So with the text sizing thing is cool and everything, bearing in mind we probably didn't handle the DPI thing. Whoopsie. Did you just scale the whole thing by DPI? That times that. Right, then you just say times the whole thing by DPI. Something like that. Ought to be good enough. So this thing is useful for when you're building the perfect rectangle for your text. Now, from a user's perspective of the API, obviously we just placed it in the button and it was kind of horrible, wasn't it? So if we want to center it, what we can, it's just placed on the lower left. Wasn't kind of great, was it? So what we could do, we could build something amazing. We can maybe build something where you can get a size, right, and you can say basically, give me that aligned to the left, top right, and you can get some like nice alignment in there. So you could probably say, right, I got this sort of like text size or dims, right, given this sort of string here, right, and oh yeah, here's the star, by the way. And then you say, given that, can you produce me a rectangle from this one, which is aligned in some way? So that'd be pretty cool. I've done this in the past, the UI, and it's handy, right? You've got all this space, but you need to be able to position it around. Right, so should we just jam on that quick? By a good addition, I think. Be able to, given some alignment, so you should be able to say enum UI align, and you want to be able to say like UI align. So we'll start at the bottom, right? Because bottom is origin, you know. Bottom left, just bottom middle, bottom right. Then you'll have middle. Or do you say center? Yeah, middle's really horrible in name, really. Anyway, middle left, middle middle, middle right. Love me a good middle middle. So top left, top middle, top right. Okay. Yeah. So I think we should be able to take this enum. Hey there, Ansel. How are you doing, sir? What have you been up to? Making a game engine in Vulkan. Never mind, I just read the description. You're making a game. What type of game? What genre? We don't know about that stuff yet. We're first making an engine. No, you're making the engine part of the game. So yeah, we are making a game without an engine, but obviously you do have to have kind of like an engine in a way. But we're just writing the bare necessities to sort of get to the prototyping stage. So we've done some 2D rendering for some UI. We're currently just getting the UI in a good shape where we can sort of jam and do some prototype ideas. But I do want to find a graphics art style before we do that. So we'll be doing some 3D rendering after we've done this UI basically. You know, and if I don't get sidetracked by doing some crazy text rendering as well with paths, maybe I'll do that. We'll see. UI rect. What is UI rectangle? We want to be able to say like cut aligned. Now the thing is about this, right? If you say cut aligned, you get a rectangle. You want to find. Maybe it's not cut aligned. Yeah, you take a rectangle in, you get a rectangle out, and you're not really cutting it. You're not mutating this one like you are. So you're gonna maybe you call it like inner aligned. I don't know, because you're not going to mutate this. So I guess you could write const on it, but ew. Yeah, maybe const would be better, but extract. Right, so you get this sort of alignment. So you want the side, the sort of dimensions of the thing you're cutting out, or extracting. It's a bloody long name. We'll just call it rec align. Right, and you're aligning something of this size in there and get back a rectangle out. Bam, something like that. That's all you need. So this would be pretty sweet. So you just do one big old switch statement, right? All these things, and you just fill them in. It's pretty easy. So you say switch align. And you just do a bunch of cases. I don't know why I just didn't do this one. Oh no, I can do it still. 9 at. Oof. Probably want the one where it's. Oh, okay. Kind of want to do these to be fair, because we're going to want to have Have some local variables, you know? Right. So bottom left is just return yourself a rectangle. So the thing is about the rectangle, maybe we just go call it ret. It could just be a copy. Let's call it R. So you would then just mutate this, right? So do you need to mutate it? No. Bottom left is nothing, and then we just simply return R. Well, no, you do change it. Don't get me wrong. So it's max is equal to F32 is add. Well, you kind of want a minute with itself, isn't it? R.min with dims. Yeah, maybe I don't want a minute. Screw it. Let's just do dims. We'll let it overflow. Yeah. Do some of that. It's probably easier just to do it line by line, to be honest, rather than doing it vectorized. It's just easier doing this, because then you copy paste it to the other guys. Cool. So to do bottom middle, like, you just need to change the X one, not the Y one. Wait a minute, we'll think about that one. Oh, I went with what you suggested there, not so red, without even looking. Sweet. Good alignment there. Pun not intended. Game about engine proceeds to create engine. Oh yeah. Yeah, I have to keep people on their toes, you know? What type of game will we build? That's the question. What game will I build? We shall see, and after the graphics. There's a ton of research. We'll revisit my childhood. The good old days of games. Keep them waiting, exactly. Episode 1032. No, I'm joking. Hopefully, we'll hopefully hit there in episode 80, maybe. We'll see. Gonna have some cool 3D graphics first. So to have them aligned to the middle, you need to move the min. Right, the min needs to be moved on the X axis. The bottom is fine. So the min, so you need like half, you need just sort of like half X, or half width. And your half width is rec max.x take rec min.x divided by 2. So you basically want to say, given for my min, right, offset. See, as soon as we work out like the middle and the right, it's just copy and pastable for across the X and Y. It's pretty easy. You just got to work it out once. So you got your min X, so left hand side, right? You want that. So somewhere center aligned. You want to yeah, you want to say given. Yeah, it's plus half width. Take away. So So then you want like half. Let's store it into local. Half x. Half damn, I don't know. Call it half x, screw it. Dims.x divided by 2. So yeah, it's plus that, take away half x. Then the maximum is basically the same, but with a plus. Oh yeah. Sweet, same page. What is compute shaders taking time in your profiler? Tiling. Well, it's also the UI ones basically. So we've only got some UI rendering. So we do some chunk binning, do some tile binning, and then we render. So it's all, the graphics is fully done with compute. We don't use triangles because it's not hipster enough. I could make graphics for you. I could show you my portfolio on YouTube. I'm using Blender for years now. Makes it bigger. Nice, that's cool. Yeah, unfortunately, not really looking for anybody to work with, even if it is for free, because yeah, I can't, like in my contract, I can't work with people who, like for my job, who could potentially be arch nemesis. You know, they can't come from, like they can't, you know, anti-competitor sort of stuff, right? So if you were to one day all of a sudden work for some other game studio, then it's not really compatible with that. So, but it's cool, I appreciate it. But yeah, I won't be using Blender or anything like that anyway. We're going to be have a custom editor and just do all the art within the game with some new sort of way of doing it, basically. Maybe someone else has done it in the past, right? Nothing's really new, but some sort of unique way. But yeah, I think that looks good, though. Right, so now we're just going to do the same thing for the right. So the right one goes all the way to the end. So you go all the way to the other end, take away the full amount. So the max stays the same, but the min says, right, given the full width, take away the full width, take away dims.x, right? Voila. So there's your bottom right. So now the rest is basically just, you know, complete the rest of the owl people. So the middle one needs to borrow from this one. So these are all Y's. I just realized it's not width anymore, it's height. Half height. Kabam. Do you know half Y? Yeah. Pretty sweet. So that gets you the middle on the Y. Wait. Did I bug that up? Damn it. Yeah, it does make sense. I should probably make these. Yeah, because it's like YX. A little bit confusing, so maybe it should be left bottom. See, I really want to get those checkboxes in today. We should have time. May I ask, why would you have a custom editor and build things inside the game since Blender is free and pretty advanced? I'm pretty sure there's a reason behind that. Yeah, so the problem is that it is pretty advanced. You know, there's a whole slew of things, right? We're doing compute only. I'm building this all by myself, right? We can also get a unique style, right? You know, we're not doing it. No, it's going to be, you know, more unique style. We can have a very easy way, like providing I know how my tools work, right? It should be a lot easier. It's integrated in the game. There's less of a workflow of going from Blender to the game. When you're, you know, playing something, you probably hop right into the editor within the game, edit it, and see the changes reflect right away. There, you know, I could build custom tooling which specifically is designed around the game. Obviously, these things can take more time and everything. But yeah, and also it's fun, right? That's the other one. It's fun. How important are half floats? I don't know. Sometimes they're important. They're kind of important sometimes to reduce the number of VGPR usage in shaders, but it just depends, right, on your problem. The whole vehicle. That's right. Let's reinvent that whole vehicle. I understand it. You build it yourself. It does what you want. No extra features. Easy. Makes sense. You've been we. Well, I use the word we because I don't like the word I. I makes you seem like a very like egotistical person. You're like, look at me. I am this. I'm that. You know, I'm sure I speak for multiple people who have similar opinions. You know, so I just like to use the word we. You know, especially if you're in a team. I don't like to say the word I ever. You know, that sort of thing. And also, a lot of my ideas don't necessarily fully come from me anyway. You know, I learn a lot from other people. So it's always good to say the word we. Yeah, voices in my head. There's many versions of me, that's why. That's the real reason. Right, so we've gone and... So should we reorder that? The left, middle, left. It doesn't really matter, does it? That's all on the bottom. Yeah, you know, across the grass, up the ladder, you know, that sort of stuff. I don't know the exact way. Probably said it completely wrong, but anyway, that's it. Done. So these will all be fine. That is still the same. Right. Very good. Right, so we're trying out middle. So middle needs this middle. Wait, is that right? Cool. Left middle, it needs probably a base of this one. And so the Y would be middle, which means we need this here. Sehr good, sehr good. Right. So left top now. So left, just need a basis of that. Top means you need a basis of, you need to convert the one to the far right basically, right? So it's like this one here into the y's. So you effectively want to change that to height. This would be dot y dot y. This would be dot y dot y, and then height. Voila. So, oh shoot. Dot y. Good. So that's the basis for all of them. Now you've got to change the x's. So the middle x is going to be, let's take a better one. This. So it's simply that. Complete it, mate. And the right one is bottom right. So it's just those two, and voila. There we go, people. So that right there is this super lovely way of like just aligning it inside a box. We can use it anywhere. So we should now be able to align this text anywhere inside the box. So we should be able to say, right, given A, let's just assign it, address of A. What else are we doing? We need the dims, right? So how big is this thing going to be? Well, it's text dims in size. We've got to fit that in there somehow. So let's use this super lovely align. And we'll say, you know what, I want it to actually be left, top left, right? Let's try that out. Boom, it's now top left. Look at that. It was bottom left initially. So let's align it to bottom left as well. Put it back to where it was. There it is down there. Pretty sweet. Let's move to the right. Is it bottom right now? There it is over there. Very nice. What about in the middle at the bottom? Have we got that one? Very nice. What about middle? Middle is a good one. Probably use that a lot. There you go. It's in the middle. Yeah, it's in the middle. Something a little bit odd about it. A little bit off. I don't know why though. Yeah. You do it a lot in you do this actually in UIs all the time, but the issue is that it's done internally within the system. So you typically have it, you got to find a way to give the information or pass the information in, right? So the problem is though, is like, so obviously the button, when you do a text button, you always want it center aligned anyway. But yeah, there's yeah. Yeah. Yeah, we'll see how well this is when we have it bundled inside the system a bit. It should be fine. Yeah, usually you have like a property of something. You know, it gets quite dodgy. I had to sort of set this sometimes in other UI systems at least, but at least in ours we control the rectangle outside. So it should be a lot easier sometimes. The middle is a little bit off though. I don't know why. So should we print out both of those rectangles and see if it's the problem with that or it's something else, right? Core print. Yeah, 5 months ago. We've done some updates as well. It's not been completely abandoned. There's updates. It's not, so it's pretty good, right? Very minor updates, mind you, but it's being maintained, which is good. Right, so if we're getting these, so what are we trying to ensure? We're trying to ensure, right, I might be a little bit off because of the text. This pre-rastered thing. That might be. No, I don't think it is. I think that's centered, and you would see it. Right. Let's do some figuring out. So, what you want to take the difference between? Oh, did I do dims like a silly person? I did, didn't I? Right. So you want to take the max y of the old one and the max y of the new one. No, really? See, maybe that text dim should be printed out. $36. Yeah, so the max y, why is it the same? The min is different. The max y is the same though. So we could just easily drop a draw, right? Of these, maybe. So you're getting the half height. Yeah, that's looking good to me. When you do the middle. Yep. Yep. Looking good. So I'm not sure where the issue is exactly, and it seems a bit weird the results are getting back. Yeah, it might be off because of the font. Ah, crazy. Half a year. Nice. Meanwhile, my Yak stack is shrinking after I built my entire previous 15 image installer from source and installed the result onto bare metal. It's like a Gentoo thing, but on FreeBSD. Got it all from. Why is it off, man? Did the min change? The min changed. We should just draw the box. We can do that. Text dims. Right, what are we doing? Not dims, text this one. Good. So we can just draw a box. Right? Front to back. So it's front to back, we can just do this. Pass in draw rect. UI rect dims. Half dims we want. Address of that. Then we want to do some sort of like position. Center position. Cool. We'll color it in. We won't color it in, it'll just be white. Blind our faces, no problem. Right, so that is taking up the whole of that. Not good, right? That's what it's taking up. So let's go back to the drawing board. Let's say left. That's left middle. Yeah, so left middle is still wrong. There's something to do with that y, the way it's calculating the y or something. Let's start with left middle. It's a little bit stretched. What? Do 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 do. So you can also have an offset that's passed into here as well. That's another way you can do it. You can also add an offset into it. Is that useful though? Maybe not. See, we've done it to the middle and the y is high. We changed the max y, man. Left middle goes into here. R dot max y. We're returning R, right? Left middle. Vulkan stuff on the diagram had tons of memory leaks. Yeah, they've always got memory leaks, Sully. Like, since OpenGL days, they always do it. Because of the padding. It's pre-padding. There's margin as well. The margin gets applied as well, isn't it? Yeah, maybe we're not doing the margin. Yeah, I think it could be because of the margin in the dims though, then. But even if I didn't use that, say if I just did this, right? Let's do like 40 by 40. And does it stretch to the top? See, it stretches to the top. That's the issue we're getting. Like, why is it stretching to the top? Oh, it's because I changed the damn min. Oh, that's why. So the issue is you're changing the min. Right, we'll be careful about that, changing locals. Right. So we changed the local there. So that gets changed last. So maybe we should replace everything with rec. Right. So this should just be rec dref. We'll let the compiler figure out what's best. Typically all drivers, Sully, they have those problems. I don't know why they're not. Okay, basically graphics drivers, right? Typically they're riddled with bugs and memory leak issues and maybe don't do the best thing under the hood which you would want it to do, right? So this is why moving to Vulkan was better, but it's still not all the way there, right? Like, yeah, they got a lot better since we've moved to Vulkan. Right, there we go. That's good. Now we're not counting the margin in. So it should be counting the margin when we do these dims. Where is that? Right. So yeah, they are smaller. Right, perfect. Perfect. So now we do the drawing. Text ID. They're a lot smaller, that is for sure. Yeah. Damn it. Do we need... Right, because if we pass it in, it's had margin on it. Which means it'll shrink by the margin. So if we make it that much bigger, this should hopefully be... You shrink by the margin. That's the thing you're rendering. Which means you probably... So given this text, you get the size of the text, which is just string size times line height. Then there's border thickness, there's padding and margin. Yeah, I think that is all of it. Obviously we shouldn't have any of that margin and padding if you're doing text sometimes. Right, it's correct. Very good. Right, so we do like middle. Right, so that's looking kind of even more off now. Why? Because I think it's correct, right? Is it correct? Because why do I think it's correct? Because if we draw that, you see it does, the distance is actually fine. The problem is the box is a little bit too big now. So when you do your bottom left, that's the render. Right, but the render isn't accounted for the margin and padding. Right. So this one needs to say plus styles padding dot left styles padding dot right. Right, this is it. Cursor. So the thing as well is you also need to worry about, oh sorry, what am I doing with that? You also need to worry about the border. Right, there's a border, but text doesn't get a border, it doesn't get a background. And it's not something, well, something you could put down, right? Right, do we want to put... So your text could also have a border and a thing of its own, if you wanted to. And we could probably just mimic that from the... Right, there you go, that's centered now. Oh yeah. And you could probably get that from the box draw. So you could just probably do a box draw like that. And, you know, chef's kiss. There you go. So why? So obviously if you don't want it there, you just don't. If you don't want it there, Ooh, if BG color or border color. Sweet, that'll be ideal. So you don't have to render it if it's not there in the style. Pretty good. So render it so it's front. Oh no, it's back to front. Yeah, it's back to front in the new. Yeah, but yeah, it's back to front when you place them down. Sweet, so that's all good. So let's just quickly test the alignment stuff over, and then we'll do some other controls, other widgets. So we want to do left, middle. There it is in the left middle. Right middle, please. It's over there. Nice. Right top. Nice. Middle top. Very good. And left top. Pretty sweet. Let's try the middle bottom. And bottom right. Sweet. Right, so that's proper cool. So got some, you know, some lovely text. And we can align boxes now, which is pretty cool. So we can make text buttons now, but I would rather us work on getting checkboxes and radio buttons in, and then we can do all the other sort of handy ones after that, right? Okay, so that's really good. So we can now just we'll do a middle. Hey there, Lobsang. Two, how you doing? Welcome. Yeah, I've been programming for about 14 years, 15 years, yeah. Cool. Pretty good, we fire that off. Now let's do a new widget. Let's get more widgets. What other widgets do we want? So we'll do these in a bit, right? Maybe there's something that I'll think about by next stream which can make this even better, maybe. I don't know. Any complaints to that? So the next one that I want to do is a checkbox. Why do I write ball? Checkbox. So the checkbox, the idea is simple. You put down a rectangle. Probably should be square. So the things about the checkbox is if you have some text, right, you need to be able to have your checkbox which takes up a whole area. Yeah, it needs to be like checkbox start and checkbox end. So you can basically have a whole area, right? The checkbox is just gonna be like, right, I'm just gonna do my rendering here, right? But if you have some text in here, which you're gonna be doing, then when you click the text, it clicks the checkbox. So that's why I want to make sure we're doing that, right? So we'll do a start and end, so we can do one with text and images and text, right? And go full ham in all of that. So rectangle, we don't want any text, but we need a billion. Yeah, so you just basically have the state is checked. So it gets modified, passed in, out. It'll be for in-game UI. Welcome, Leviska. Is for game UI, but also debug UI as well. I don't know why you would need a difference. We've got a flexible renderer, so if we want to do some specific game UI look, we can style it however we want, basically. But we'll have some, the basic style, sets of things like margin, padding, borders, backgrounds, that standard stuff. But we'll also be able to do some custom rendering if we please, because we've got a super flexible renderer, which basically works with sign distance fields. So we'll just be able to do whatever we want for the game UI, which would be cool. Hey there, Yorzo. How you doing? Yeah, the sky is up. Also, Y is up as well, unless you're people like Z. Okay, so as we were saying, what we want to do is get the box one, or like just get the button one. Really, it's just the same. Right, so you just chuck that in there. The box end is, like that. Boom. Obviously, it's kind of error prone. Some of these, you could probably do some extra checking, but it's a lot of effort, I think. It's not really worth it. We've got the scoped stuff for that. Right, so the idea of this is it's not pressable, it's toggleable. It's a great word to say, toggleable. So we draw a box still. Now the box has to be a square. And then you might want to draw another box as well. So you draw back to front. So we could just steal this. Yeah, I know. We're going to reuse this function. It's a good function. So, but instead we're going to say, okay, you draw rectangle. So it's got to be square, right? So given the y, that's the x, or the x is the y. So when we say the max x is equal to draw max y, so you just say make it square, right? Make it square. Draw the the box, the checkbox, and then what you want to do is draw an inner one of that, right? So we're going to go to the styles, right? So the styles we need to make sure we have be able to say how much. See, we could just use margin, right? But then it's kind of like this thickness thing. So we could probably just say, right, checkbox, check, padding. And that will be, or check, we're just going to put a square inside of another square, right? That's all we're going to do. So we want to know how much of this space we want for that. So we'll probably just say check. So it could be a check size, but then it doesn't. I think it's just got to be a padding instead. So then we just under that checkbox padding. That's what we'll call it. So Let's go to the main and chuck that in. So we'll say, hey, it's got 4, right? We could obviously play around that number, but 4 is fine. So what you're going to do is then shrink the box, right? It's got a lovely shrink function. Rec, shrink, even. Draw a rectangle by styles. Checkbox padding. And then you draw the inner check. Now you only draw that check if checked. So if we are checked, then we simply will draw the check. So that is going to be, we don't really draw another box, right? So we go to the implementation, we draw an axis line bounding box. Do you want like a different checked color? I think you want a different checked color, right? But maybe it's like an active color. It's foreground color. It's the foreground color. Active foreground. Right, so you can say given styles where's the active thing? States UI widget state active dot foreground color. Kabam. And voila. So you're going to be using draw rectangle, not rectangle there. And then you also want to be, oh, that's interesting. Do you take the radius of the current? Yes. That'd be a bit fun, wouldn't it? So you can have like a radius check. So how do we set this is, well, inside here, when we toggle, it changes the active state, right? So what we need to be able to do is get the flags here. Yeah, IMGUI is not really recommended for game UI because, as I was saying, it's specifically designed for tools. So it's not really, it's hard to make a library where it's very configurable because you can't have an enum which gets extended outside of the library very easily. Obviously you can do it, but there's lots of things, right? And the enum will no longer be compile time, so or maybe you can do it where you can compile it in, but still, it's not as easy as just having an enum or something. There's loads of these, you can't edit things to be exactly how you need it to be for your game. So making or your application, making UI inside of a library is a very hard problem. So yeah, toggleable. Yeah, it's a good name. Called a renderer. Yeah, the word renderer is funny. What is this, Rust? Yeah, no, it's just like it's saying that you can pass it in or out. I got the star from someone else, but yeah. It basically said, he's out. They're saying just set it out. But mute means you read it or write it. Right. Read, write. Maybe that's better. I don't know. So yeah, just on top of that, right? If we're gonna OR on, dref is checked mute. We have a way to force on the active. Yeah, that one is active. So we chuck that boy on, and this lets it know because this thing can be active because it's focusable and toggleable, it's going to start off as being active, and then if the thing is clicked, it will then change it from an active state to an inactive state. So we can go to the code basically. So we're saying, hey, this thing can be focused. If it's focused, update the click state or the focus state, you know, if it's focused or that. And we're saying if the thing is focused in some way, then all that focus thing on. And the widget state, if they tell us it's active, we start it off as active. And here we're saying if it's toggled, obviously, and it's been focused, and we click, we've pressed it in, it toggles the active flag, right? Wait, I could just XOR that, right? Yeah. Such a scrub. Much better. So just press toggle it, and then set it here, and then we basically convert the flags into a prioritized. We hold it down to a single value, and then we know it's active or not. So all we have to do is set this to B. So is checked is going to be based on whether or not the current UI widget state is equal to state active. Then, do we always set it? I'm a bit. Do we always set it? I think we do. Yep. Now the thing is about, like, I think IMGUI returns a Boolean based on when you changed it. Right? I have changed. Has the value changed? But we return visible. So there's that. So we're gonna have a think about that. But let's for now just test this thing out, and then we'll get to the other things about it, right? So this would be checkbox. You pass in the rectangle area that you want to be checked. You want the is checked. Changing there like that. Voila. You do need another version. Where it's simply just, where it's like the box one, or it just does this. Okay, so now we should be able to test this out. So imagine if we had a text box, or sorry, a checkbox, which spanned the whole of one of those lovely rectangles we got on the screen, those button ones. And this is great because we're able to test focused items inside of focused items with this test here. So we say checkbox, and then we say pass in the A rectangle. Is checked, so we can do static Boolean, is checked. Now we need to make sure we pass in something as well. But anyway, doesn't matter. So it is checked. Address of that, and then the box style. Everything's got this ugly box style, right? Sweet. So we do that, and here's the checkbox. Now that is not right. Yeah, so that's fine. It should be changing the whole. Yeah, so this is fine when we hover here, right? Because this is the padding area. This is the whole checkbox area, including here. This is the checkbox itself. But we set the X to the Y apparently, but it didn't kind of work out. So let me just have a quick gander. the max x is equal to the max y. No. So sorry, min.y, and then it'll be drawRec.min y x. Yeah. So that's the height, isn't it? We should probably make it a little bit more readable. Yeah. Cool. So there's your checkbox. Ding. So you click the whole thing, it toggles it. So imagine there's text here, because we've set the area to be that wide, right? So it makes sense. So it's working fine. But it's not rendering the. Oh no, it is rendering it. It's got a margin of 4 though. Margin of 4 is not really that good. Well, no, we should be applying the padding. So it needs to be shrink by the padding as well. Where's the padding at? This stuff. Shrink the draw rectangle, please. By the border and the padding and the checkbox padding, so that'd be even better. NFTs, Nico. Makes sense of it. Oh, NFS, sorry. Why are we down NFTs? Down these NFTs. NFS. Nice. Good job. Right, so that. It's not shorter than I would have expected. Why? Did I not compile it? So you shrink the draw rectangle this much. The radius in that is fine. You've made it square. Should be shrinking. Not sure why it is. Should we punch in like 36 or something and just see if that's doing anything? Right, I know the problem. The problem is this is getting active styling. That's the issue. So we got to really take the box draw, and we got to like, yeah. So like this, when we do box draw, we could maybe give it a style instead of the styles. 3 styles. No, we need both. No, not a good idea. Well, you could tell it to draw it at a specific style instead. So you could pass in style and styles. It's a thing you can do. And then you get some code reuse. Yeah, code reuse. But we just made it a little bit more complicated. So, pick your poison. Right. So goes box draw. So if we now instead we pass this in here. Right. So when we draw this checkbox one, now it's like, you know, we don't care what it is, just use the default one. Is that what we want though? Like you see your foreground. So this is using foreground color. The background color. Oh no, maybe it is fine. No, I think maybe it's fine actually. What's my foreground color? That's the problem. Right, we haven't set foreground color, so it's invisible. That's the issue. So foreground, which is kind of like text anyway. Right, let's go to text. Being a silly, doing a silly, you know. Alright, so for text color, sort that out. Cool. Right, so there's the white that I was looking for, or the thing that we're looking for now. So you can still get, background can still change as well. So you can have the background of the actual box change with the active thing, which is kind of okay, I guess. So when you click it, right, we need to put the things back in. Whoops, that's why. Right, this will work now. Easy peasy. Right, swap that for draw rec. And we're in. Right, so there's the checkbox done. Oh yeah, so you got a nice little ball there now, so it's checked. It's got the same radius as the outside. Probably okay. And there you go. That's the button on the outside, and then we focus here on the checkbox. Pretty sweet. That's really cool. So there is another one like a radio button. It's pretty similar. Although the box. You pretty much just draw it with circles, though, probably. Yeah, should we do the checkbox one? Or the radio one quick? Right, let's start on the header. So the radio one is, so replace check with radio. Radio button. Cool. So is checked is now going to be, you want to say, probably selected index. So this is something you're passing in, and you just do U32. Right. So on the inside, it's basically the same thing. Basically same thing as checkbox. Few alterations is all. So checkbox, radio button. Okay. Then we change another that is checked for a selected index. So I think we need to make a tiny other change actually. So it's two parameters. Oh, it's selected ID, isn't it? Yes, that's what you want. It's selected ID. So you set the ID in here. And then that way you can intelligently like put it in a for loop and like basically make this like an enum or something and just, you know, and it should be much better. Do it that way. Okay, so we want to be using instead of ball, it's UI ID. Okay. Give it the same prototypes. Fantastic. So all we need to do is you said the flags are focusable and probably selectable. Yes. So that means when you press it, it becomes active, and if you keep pressing it, doesn't do anything because it's already selected. So then you want to say, hey, if this is equal to ID, then it's active, right? So then you pass that in, makes it active. Then here you read the active state. If it's active, if it's checked, then you want to make sure that selected this is equal to your ID here, and that's it. Okay. So all you have to do now is draw some circles instead. So probably you want to take something like this. Yep. So rect is now draw rect. Let's delete style. Whoops. Right, so you want to draw, so this rect is now draw rect. Just got to be careful with that one. Address of draw rect. So we're not drawing, like, I guess they can come without borders, that is a thing. We want to be drawing a circle though, so we can just change the shape and the SDF renderer can just work based on the distance, right? So it can border it, it can color it in solid if it wanted to. So we should just be able to use circle. And all we need to do is take the radius, which will probably just be .x, I guess, it doesn't matter. Cool. Then the radius doesn't matter anymore. Pretty sweet. Hey Socom, how's it going? Is this the game? Is this the game of engine progress or progress without engine stream? I'm in the right place. Game of process, like progress. Yeah, there's no progress on the game yet. That's for sure. Definitely engine without game. How's it going, Socom? How you been? Do we want radio button padding? Probably do the same sort of thing. So as the style, we'll do radio button padding. I doubt they'll be different from the checkbox, but hey, it's configurable. So we can take that. So you shrink in this box and everything, you're doing a circle instead, right? And you're saying .x on there, no radius, solid color, bam, done. Right, so that's radio button. So all we have to do is actually try and use it. So we're going to do a nice little for loop. So you've got this one here, you do a for loop. You'll keep cutting left some more, put some of them in. So we'll say like index 0, index 0. So you can't really use line, is that right? No, you could use line. Yeah. Right, index 0 and maybe let's say there's like 3 of them. You're going to just do UI radio button. Radio button with an ID, explicit ID of index. We've got a selected index. Selected ID. So by default it is, let's make it like a really large number, just to make sure it's not selected at the start. Then we're going to pass in the address of selected, oh no, we're passing the rectangle, so it's A, address of A, and then the styles, right? Now, something we want to do is make sure that we cut left. So we'll cut left by 100, so we can keep getting UI rectangle, we'll call it B, address of B. So we keep cutting left, and we'll get room for more radio buttons, right? And voila! This is absolutely horrible. What just happened? Is it because we didn't end with a radio button? I don't know what happened there. Oh, but how's the stream today? Yeah, it's been pretty good. We've been getting yeah. We've been getting checkboxes working. We've got the ability to like do text now and align text, or align any rectangle inside another rectangle. You know, you can line it to the top left, top right, middle, all that sort of stuff. All these different configurations here, and you can just align a rectangle within inside another one. We've done quite a bit today. It's been good. Yeah. So we've just been trying to get a few more of the basic widgets in, just mainly the core functionality, right? It's got to look damn ugly at the moment, but that's by design. Oh, did I do a box drawer and then okay, that's probably why. I left the box drawer in there. Right. Now this thing is way too big, but it does show up. Right. Radio button, people. Problematic, clearly. So we should scrunch it next to this one, I think. That'd be a bit of fun, wouldn't it? So let's do that. Okay, so we're gonna just ignore that one for now, because it's kind of vertical, that one is a bit big. So if we do a cut left, so we're taking A, keep cutting A left to B. That should be good. Shoot. Got a radio button inside my checkbox. Not good, is it? B. Right, so you got one radio button. That's fine. Let's up that to 3. And watch it all work. Cool, 3 radio buttons, so you can highlight them. You can go a little bit outside because that's by design, right? We've made the box bigger than the radio button, so you can put text in the larger space, right? And it's still clickable, which is what you want. They can be selected like so. And then you can also do the checkbox. Very nice. Look at that. Look at that. Cool. So I've got some buttons here, you know, clearly a rendering masterpiece. Right, so that's pretty decent. I still want to fix that problem of like knowing when it changed, because you'd have to do it's not good. So checkboxes should probably not return visibility. Okay, checkbox end should return Boolean. No, it can't. It can't, because you've not got the thing passed in. It's hard. It's a hard problem. So I think because the problem is this returns as visible. Um, so maybe instead, yeah, maybe there's visible is probably the best one to return. I think we instead want to say if checked. Yeah, so good, amazing. No, see, I do art, and I used to do it a lot, and I used to get quite into it, but I gotta like swap to my art hat, and also sort of get the muscle memory going again. But yeah, I can do it. I just gotta like actually bother trying. So we just want to say, hey, did the active change? In the last widget. Now that's a bit sketchy though, because you might have text in there. So ones with text in there. So yeah, so the button. See, that's another thing as well. So when you do this button scope and you do a start then an end. It's as if you want like a bit set or an array, a stack of balls, where you like keep track and know whether the active did change, or that button, or that thing. So you could just then say if, then you get the. That's the thing. It's like you want a focus state for the button. Damn it! This is thinking about retaining state now. This is not nice. Or you could get it here, and then just set it outside. Yeah, it's possible to do it. That's something we've got to think about. It's like, how do we get here and just be able to say, you know, did this thing. So focus state. And UI focus state clicked or pressed or released, right? When they release the button, do a thing. You know, at the moment this gets set when you start a button. So if you have other widgets that happen, it's going to override that information. So we need to figure out like how do we do that, and then like for a checkbox, you just want to be able to check whether if the last one was active, or if it changed. If the last state changed or something. Yeah, so we need to think about those. Those are things we need to know about. And also make it easy, you know, understandable. I was actually hard learning Vulkan. You sure? But yeah, it's pretty good progress. We've still got, you know, a few widgets to do. Got to clean up these widgets. But yeah, it's coming along well. Yeah, I liked how a lot this went today. So yeah, next stream will be on at Thursday. I got to start a little bit later than usual. So it'll be like 6. Wait, what'll it be? It'll be 8 p.m. That's when I'll start. 8 p.m. on Thursday. GMT +1. But yeah, yeah. So I'll upload this code to the GitLab for those who have access and want to have a bit of a play. Obviously, all welcome to. So let's find someone to raid, and yeah. What's he streaming today? Some Rust. We got Rust or Java. Do some Rust. Right. Thank you for coming, everyone. I'll see you all in a future stream. And yeah, have a good Wednesday and Thursday. I'll see you then. Catch you later. Thank you. Bye.